Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Wednesday, March 5th, 2025, and this is your AM update.
And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
President Trump's joint address to Congress celebrates his ferocious pace of actions in just the first 6 weeks of his presidency. Republicans were raucous, Democrats, not exactly.
If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S.
President Trump may dial back tariffs following a forceful response from the Canadians, and Attorney General Pam Bondi finally gets her hands on the rest of the Epstein Files. Maybe. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. Let's talk about that car you own but don't use. The one you're paying to keep registered and insured that's just taking up space out front. It's just sitting there doing no one any good. But you do have a choice. You can give Cars for Kids, that's Cars with a K, a call and have them take care of it for you. Just give them the info and they will come to you as soon as the next day and take that car off your hands at no cost to you. Even better, they will turn that car into funds to help kids. So visit carsforkids.org/MK. That's Cars with a K and then the number 4 to donate, or just call Cars for Kids directly at 1-877-CARS-4-KIDS, and they will get that car picked up quickly. Plus, you need to get a tax deduction and a vacation voucher. You can get both of those with this donation. They've been around for over 30 years, and they have done this a million times. They can help you through this. Very simple. Call now or head on over to carsforkids.org/MK right now to get this done. Cars, the numeral 4, kids.org/MK. Cars with a K. President Trump delivering a joint address to Congress, touting the success of his administration's wide-ranging actions since taking office less than 2 months ago. Billions of dollars in new investments, illegal border crossings plummeting to historic lows, the unleashing of American energy, and President Trump announcing President Zelensky sent him a letter saying Ukraine is ready to sign the minerals agreement.
Today I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. I appreciate that he sent this letter. It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war.
The defining moment of the night, Democrat opposition to just about everything. Within moments, an unprecedented outburst from Dems, booing and jeering as President Trump highlighted his electoral victory. Texas Congressman Al Green shouting and waving his cane from his chair. Speaker Mike Johnson quickly squashing the outburst.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
In 2009, South Carolina Congressman Republican Joe Wilson was widely condemned by members of both parties for shouting, "You lie," to President Obama in his first joint address. President Trump replying to the pandemonium, saying he could find a cure to a devastating disease or stop all crime, and the Democrats would not stand and cheer, to which the Democrats responded by scowling from their seats. Many of the Democrat congresswomen dressed in pink, an homage to the pink hats that defined the leftist Women's March formed to protest the first Trump administration. Early on in his remarks, President Trump giving a special shout-out to former high school volleyball player Peyton McNabb.
He smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
President Trump calling participation of biological males in female sports demeaning to women, saying, "We're not going to put up with it any longer," calling it part of his common sense revolution. On Monday, Democrats blocked the vote on the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. The bill would have banned biological males from competing in female sports. President Trump highlighting the massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse discovered by Elon Musk and the Doge team.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America.
Elon receiving massive boos from the Democrats, many of whom held tiny little signs reading, "Musk steals." President Trump taking the fight right back to his detractors, calling on Congress to pass tax cuts for everyone.
They're waiting for you to vote, and I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
Mr. Trump highlighting the first and so far only legislative achievement of his second term, the Laken-Riley Act. The president acknowledging the presence of Allison and Lauren Phillips, the mother and sister of Laken Riley. Laken was murdered by an illegal immigrant let into the country by the Biden administration.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
Laken's mother mouthing thank you to the president. The Dems did not stand. In an emotional moment, President Trump acknowledging another guest, Alexis Nungare, mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn, who was sexually assaulted and murdered by two illegal immigrants, her body left in a creek.
One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn.
Stephen Miller posting on X, they, meaning Democrats, didn't stand for Jocelyn. It was a theme we saw throughout the night. They sat even when a 13-year-old boy with cancer was honored. President Trump turning to foreign policy, sending a message to Greenland.
And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
Mr. Trump saying Greenland is vital to U.S. national security interests. Prior to the speech, the president's staff teased many surprises. One big one, the announcement of the capture of the terrorist who planned the 2021 Abbey Gate suicide bombing in Afghanistan.
Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice.
The Dems remained seated. 13 service members were killed and dozens horrifically wounded in the explosion amid the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Last week, the president instructed the Secretary of Defense to investigate the withdrawal and deliver accountability to the generals responsible for botching it. President Trump winding down his speech with a bold vision for America, promising the freest and most dominant civilization on the face of the earth with the highest quality of life.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Coming up, Canada threatens to escalate measures in the tariff wars, and the latest on the Epstein Files in just a moment. 4 years of crushing interest rates, runaway inflation, and reckless government spending. And who is paying the price? You are. You might have bills stacking up. You might have debt collectors on your back. You might barely be able to keep food on the table, and that's stressful. Done with Debt can be a way out. These guys have developed a new aggressive strategy, many of them actually, designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy and without loans. Done with Debt will stand between you and your bill collectors. They can go head-to-head with their creditors, getting your balances reduced, your interest rates slashed, and penalties stopped. They create a plan to end your debt fast and put more cash in your pocket every month. And right now, Done with Debt is accepting new clients. But you need to act fast. Some of these credit relief programs expire. Before you make another payment, consider a visit to donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 right now. Speak with one of their debt relief strategists for free. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. President Trump doubling down on his commitments to those tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
They've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens. And they are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. And the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer.
Though Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Fox Business earlier in the day, President Trump may be willing to compromise on a lower rate.
I think he's going to work something out with them. It's not going to be a pause, none of that pause stuff, but I think he's going to figure out, you do more, and I'll meet you in the middle some way, and we're going to probably be announcing that tomorrow. So somewhere in the middle will likely be the outcome, the president moving with the Canadians and Mexicans, but not all the way.
This comes after the Canadians' forceful response to the 25% tariffs that went into effect on Tuesday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has resigned as head of his party and will be replaced when Canada holds an election, appealing to U.S. citizens yesterday morning.
We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States. And they've chosen to undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth.
Mr. Trudeau warning the U.S. that Canada is prepared to up the ante.
And should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford telling NBC News he's willing to cut off American electricity.
I'm going after absolutely everything. And I don't want to. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it.
Mr. Ford promising to direct energy producers to shut down energy exports to the U.S. entirely if Mr. Trump goes forward with his planned reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. That's an additional set of tariffs on top of the 25% that went into effect yesterday. In the meantime, Mr. Ford says Ontario is slapping a 25% electricity export tax. President Trump justifying the tariffs on the basis of a national emergency, he says, related to fentanyl. On Monday, he told reporters Canada would have to start building their cars in the United States. The Trump administration has yet to name any specific steps Canada or Mexico could take to have these tariffs removed. Canada's economy is heavily dependent on the U.S. The Times reports 3/4 of all Canadian exports are destined for the United States, and trade makes up 1/5 of their GDP. Simply put, the tariffs will plunge Canada into a recession. Canada's Chamber of Commerce predicts their GDP will plunge by a whopping 2.6%. Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing her office has secured the rest of the Epstein Files. The original release of the Epstein Files last Thursday, a total flop, containing just 200 pages of already available information. A source revealing to the Attorney General that the rest of the Epstein Files were hidden away at the FBI's New York field office, located in the jurisdiction of the Southern District of New York. AG Bondi telling Fox News her office received a truckload of documents, supposedly the remainder.
We got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
AG Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have committed to full transparency, though some information, they say, will have to be redacted.
And when we redact things, Sean, what we're going to do is not just pull pages out like they used to do. If something's redacted, you will know the line and you will know why it's redacted, like a victim's name, identifying information of a victim.
Grand jury information, too, will be redacted. On Monday, the head of the FBI's New York division, James Dennehy, was forced to resign from his post. Mr. Dennehy, writing in a letter to his staffers, quote, "Last Friday, I was informed that I needed to put my retirement papers in today, which I just did. I was not given a reason for this decision." In addition to overseeing the office withholding the Epstein files from the DOJ, Mr. Dennehy made headlines in January thanks to an email he sent to staffers following the DOJ's request for a list of every agent who worked on the January 6th cases. Mr. Dennehy telling his staffers, "Today we find ourselves in the middle of a battle of our own as good people are being walked out of the FBI and others are being targeted because they did their jobs in accordance with the law and FBI policy." Mr. Dennehy continued on, quote, "Time for me to dig in," end quote. His resignation is the latest sign from Team Trump that internal resistance will not be tolerated. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here later for the Megyn Kelly Show. We're live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.